Minasan konnichiwa! In today's video, I will go through everything that has been confirmed so far about the entry procedure that will start the 1st of March. What are the main points that are still unclear? And also I will talk about a Q&A I want to do next week. So if you want to find out about all this, please watch the whole video until the end. I'm recording this video on Saturday 26th of February and info can change all the time. So please make sure to verify everything again before your departure. What I'm going to say in this video are general info and each school or employer can have his own procedure and request. Please always wait for the communication from your sponsor and follow first the instructions you get from them. Schools are applying now online for a completion of registration certificate using the new Entrance Returnees Follow-up System, ERFS. You will need the PDF version of this certificate to be able to convert your COE to visa. Schools and companies have already started to work on this and the PDF will be shared with you when they are ready. Please wait until then. Depending on when your COE was issued, you may also need a declaration from your school that says that the COE is still valid and you are still waiting to enter Japan. Please make sure to check your passport. It must be valid at least 6 months from the moment you enter Japan. If you need to renew your passport, you should do as soon as possible. Don't forget always to double check with your sponsor before renewing the passport. Quarantine post-arrival will be needed depending on the country where you're coming from. I attach a list of the current designated and non-designated countries, but please check again the same website and your local Japanese embassy before your departure, since again, things can always change. 7 days quarantine in a private accommodation is needed in principle, but can be shorter if the PCR test is negative on the 3rd day. For designated countries, the first 3 days of quarantine must be at a government facility. Non-designated countries, the quarantine can be done at own private suitable accommodation. Vaccine boosted entries will have the life a bit easier. If you have a vaccine booster and come from designated countries, the quarantine can be done at your own private suitable accommodation. Non-designated countries, there is no need of quarantine with vaccine booster. Vaccine boosted means receiving all 3 shots. Vaccine accepted in Japan are AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna and Janssen and Johnson & Johnson. But to be eligible to the special condition for the quarantine, the 3rd shot should be Pfizer or Moderna. Please note, procedures might change depending on your school employer. People who are doing quarantine in a private accommodation may use public transport to get to their place of quarantine, as long as they do within 24 hours of the negative PCR test done upon arrival in Japan. Although some students and workers have already started to get the completion certificate, I think most of you should expect to get it sometime next week. It's still unclear how fast each school or employer can get it, so there may be cases where it takes longer than that. Please check with your sponsor. It has been confirmed that at least initially there will be a limit of 5,000 people per day that can enter Japan. This includes students, interns, families, workers, and Japanese re-entrants. There are many rumors, but we still lack of an official explanation on how the entries will be restricted and regulated. And I think we will only know exactly what's going to happen when the whole process actually starts next week and people start going to the Japanese embassy to get their visa. I hope that everything will be smooth and a lot of you can enter in March. For what concerns the quarantine location, it is not 100% clear of what is allowed and what is not. Sure, a room in an hotel is okay, but for example, we still need to know if any school dormitory is okay or not. We don't know yet if couple, for example, coming on the same flight can quarantine together. I and NIHON are working on the details and we will get in touch with our students in the next few working days when more information are available and to let you know how to proceed to organize your accommodation for quarantine and post-quarantine. I will also be able to share the info on this channel so everyone else, also non-NIHON students, can use the same services. One more thing that we know about the quarantine is that if you have to stay at a government facility, the government, together with paying, of course, for the first 3 days quarantine accommodation, the PCR on the 3rd day will also be paid by the government. But if you stay at your private quarantine accommodation, you or your sponsor have to get the approved PCR test. I hope it will be explained better how to do it, since it's still unclear now. I'm sure that you have a lot of questions. Please ask them in the comments below, and I will have a live Q&A for everyone on Wednesday, 2nd of March at 6 p.m. Japan time. You can ask questions in the comments of this video and I will answer your questions on Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with everyone you think needs this information or has questions to ask. Thanks a lot for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Mata ne!